under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll.
Ram Kasoon. Tobin.
Here.
Kleiner.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
John Francois.
Here.
Burr.
Here.
Green.
Here.
Massey.
Here.
President Rodriguez.
Here.
And we have a quorum.
Approval of minutes.
Tonight we have two council meeting minutes, July 21st and August 18th.
Motion by Alderman Massey, second by Alderman Green. For both minutes, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Correspondence.
Okay, we have two correspondence this evening from the Middletown Shade Tree Committee on tree watering memo to the city of Middletown.
Received and filed.
Then we also have a new legislation from the Corporation Council for all-terrain vehicles.
Forward to Alderman Johnson.
That is all for correspondence.
For the good of the city, anyone who would like to address the council, please step forward.
There's no one currently online that wishes to speak.
Remarks of the mayor.
With your permission, I'd like to ask the chief to come up to address this situation over the weekend.
Good evening. As you all know, this past weekend, specifically Saturday, August 29th, Middletown Police was involved in a officer-involved shooting in which one of our police officers was shot in his arm. Officer Evan Barone sustained a gunshot wound to his forearm. I'm very happy to say that he underwent surgery today, and it seems like everything went very well. He's in very good spirits. I'm not happy that he went under surgery, had surgery, but that he is successfully through his surgery and that he's doing well. I spoke with him this afternoon. Very good spirits. Feels good about the surgery and moving forward. Some of the circumstances of the situation. I know we've done some press releases. We did a press conference today. I'll just go through it real quick. If you have any questions, by all means. As Officer Barone, he was a current member of our neighborhood enhancement unit, was patrolling his ward. He was flagged down by a resident of 28 Myrtle Avenue looking for assistance. He exited his vehicle to garner information to sort through the situation to see what was going on. Shortly thereafter, he was actually shot by a person that was on the porch of 28 Myrtle Avenue. Very little, if any, warning at all. There's no engagement with that person, no conversation, nothing at all. Evan did an amazing job. His training kicked in. He returned fire, putting the situation to an end. At that time, realizing that he was shot himself, he controlled himself, controlled the situation, and made notification to our communications desk, requested additional services, and then he maintained control of the entire scene until he received services, additional services. For anybody that has seen the video that we did air today during the press conference, it is pretty chaotic. There's people yelling at him during this time. He's not sure really what's going on, and I'm sure time stopped for him during those moments as he was waiting for his help. I cannot say it enough how much of a great job that Evan did, and all of the officers that responded that day. They came in, they provided assistance to Evan, first aid to the defendant, secured the scene, secured witnesses, and did an amazing job that has helped us to expedite the process. As DA Hoovler said today, the process is going very quickly. Grand jury will be this week, and he's hoping for a resolution in the very near future. He also indicated today in the press conference that after reviewing all of the documents related to this case, that he is satisfied that Officer Barone was justified in his incident, in this incident this past Saturday. So for a bad incident, it's actually coming to a more positive end as far as Officer Barone being healthy, and he's going to recover, and we have a very fast-moving process right now. Any questions?
Any question for the chief? Alderman John Francois.
Was the officer alone?
Yes, he was. He was alone that evening. Typically in the neighborhood enhancement unit, he does ride with a partner. Mm-hmm. His partner just happened to be off that night. And the majority of our police officers, patrol officers, ride alone on a normal basis. Just part of that detail, typically they are partnered together. But it is not uncommon. It's actually the norm for our officers to ride in single cars.
Thank you, Chief.
Alderman Kleiner.
Thank you. Chief, congratulations, number one, on how the officer handled the situation. But what wasn't clear to me in seeing the video was who kept yelling, "I'm a federal agent." Do you know that? And was that the suspect? Because I kept hearing that from the video, someone screaming, "I'm a federal agent." Was that just a ruse, or?
I wouldn't say it was a ruse. Today at the press conference, I wasn't 100% sure myself because I've heard mixed opinions. I've heard it to be the defendant yelling it, and I've heard that it was someone else. Just a few moments ago, I was able to speak with someone else that was at the scene, and they clarified it for me that it was the person that was on the ground that was yelling at Officer Barone.
Okay.
As I was saying, it becomes distracting. He really didn't know really what was going on at that moment, who was good, who was bad, or anything to that nature. So it was very confusing for him and chaotic. And again, he's trying to sort through this knowing that he's already been shot.
That's what it seemed like to me. I asked just because we see around the country, we've had right here in City Hall, unidentified federal agents. And when you know you have that as a possibility, then to see who may have been the shooter using that as a ruse to, who knows what, but it's just something that concerned me that way.
Yeah, I'm not sure the purpose behind it.
Yeah, thank you.
Alderman Green.
Thank you, Chief. During the press conference, did I hear that, and please correct me if I'm wrong, and I thought I read it too, that the handgun that was recovered from the suspect had 16 rounds remaining?
Yes, that is correct.
Wow. So that in itself is a crime, I believe, correct, with New York State?
Yes.
Okay.
And I highlighted that today, and we've pointed that out because I truly believe that the defendant was there to cause with bad intentions.
Absolutely.
And if Officer Barone didn't happen to be driving by that day, we don't know what the outcome would have been. We could assume, and based on his criminal history and his motive that day, we don't know, but the fact that he came there unannounced, it is his ex-girlfriend's residence, her new boyfriend was there with her, we don't know what his true intentions were.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, Chief.
If I can, just real quick, I'd like to thank the community and all of you, the mayor, for all of the support and kind words. And I know the Barone family is very appreciative of it as well. So just thank you to everyone.
You know you can't go on vacation anymore.
Well, that's to be negotiated, right?
Thank you, Chief.
Flashback to the Bethencourt days.
He's quick.
Yeah. Jerry, I can assure you this guy was not a federal agent. If you look at his rap sheet there, he was.
Yeah, I'm sure, but that's the problem when you have
No, I
identified
understand. Well,
federal agents.
And I think
a
that gives
scene.
you a better perspective on what happens when a police officer goes to a scene and they don't know what they're dealing with or who they're dealing with, and it just complicates the matter for them to do that instantaneous. But we did have the press conference today, and we've had some articles on it. I wanted the chief to address it first. As you know, Evan is the son of Sam Barone and Kathy Barone. Sam's a former fire chief. Their family is very dedicated to our community. Evan was born here, raised here, attended Middletown High School. I believe he played football at Middletown High School also. And on the job less than 3 years. And what we've been talking about, and the chief mentioned, was his instincts, the bravery, but some feedback we get once in a while over my many years here is about why we do so much training in Middletown with our police officers, because we do a lot of training, and that training, costs money, and it costs time, and it costs personnel hours out of patrol and overtime and all that. But you can see the training paid off here, and the reality-based training that they do, and so it was a good investment by our city into all of our police officers, and it paid off on Saturday night. So we have heard from many surrounding communities, people, the kindness from our community, from his colleagues in the Middletown Police Station, and others from the Hudson Valley, from whether it was the county exec calling that night or Mayor Rollison from Poughkeepsie offering help. I understand Poughkeepsie sent down 20 pizza pies to the police station. I chastised the mayor for not sending one to me, but he sent them all to the police station. But that's another discussion. But it is, in a time of crisis, how the community reacts and says a lot about your community. We all think, we live in the best place, and we all do. Not only us, but people in other communities too. It's what you make the community, and I think we saw a lot of what Middletown was about the other night. And since then, the overwhelming support, especially on social media, for not only Evan and Officer Barone and his family, but also for the Middletown Police Department. Some of the discussion, and there may be some differences in a room, I don't know, but was on the national discussion of defund police. We've had the police panel now. We had 4 meetings. We're in the process of preparing our report. And the panel that we had was about 14, 15 members, pretty diverse community panel. And they agreed that defunding, and I've mentioned it at previous common council meetings, I think it's a foolish term politically and in reality. And people are seeing that what the impacts of those types of national arguments have on a small city like Middletown, New York. And I don't want to get into the national argument. All I can do, as I said at the police panel meetings and to the press, was that as far as Middletown is concerned, that defunding the police would be asinine. It would be a foolish move, and that our police department has functioned with different levels of manpower over the years. We've had the high of maybe close to 80. We're in the mid 60s or upper 60s right now, personnel-wise. And you see that change over time depending upon how your crime rates go. But you don't hire police officers and then lay them off to hire social workers. In fact, when it comes to cities like Middletown or in New York State, small cities, we don't make the decisions about mental health cases or domestic violence funding. Those decisions are made on a county level, on mobile mental health. So all of those things that the national defund argument has put in place don't apply here at all. But regardless, we are not doing a defund. I've said I would never support it. We said it prior to this. The panel who, and believe me, there were some people on the panel that were community activists in the protests. And when they found out what Middletown Police Department has in place, whether the amount of training that we have, the diversity training, the skill training, and the fact that we have a civilian police commission here, they felt very comfortable with the fact that we would not pursue, the panel would not recommend to the Common Council a funding concept. And not to say even if they did recommend it that you would accept it or I would accept it, but I was happy to see that that panel said no to defund. And now we're seeing the reasons for it on a local level. Everything is personal. When you can discuss a national issue but not be impacted directly. But here you can feel in the room today the emotions of everybody there, because we all know Sam, and we've all worked with him as fire chief, and some of us have grown up with him, and then you start thinking about your own kids, and then you start thinking about you call 911 or you call the police department, and nobody shows because you don't have enough people, because you, quote, defunded the police department. So I think it brings around the argument on that. Some people have been critical that I've been talking about that during this time, but I think it's important to personalize that type of issue, because the report will be coming to you as Common Council members when it's drafted by myself and the chief. And you folks are going to have to adopt it. And not that I'm implying that any of you are even thinking about that. But the fact is we need to adopt the policies and some of the changes that the panel may recommend. But defund police is not going to be one of them. And we're very proud of Evan, of the Middletown Police Department, and the reaction of the whole entire department. And we'll, from here, we'll continue to improve where we can. And ironically or coincidentally, tonight, you're voting on the body cams. And what you saw today was not body cam footage. You saw today was a neighbor's ring footage. So I think we see the benefits now, or even before we saw them, because we're doing it. We didn't see it early enough years ago, but we see it now, especially with the new technology, that body cameras really tell a story. Maybe not the complete story, but in this case, the story was quick enough for the Orange County District Attorney to announce today that after 48 hours, they've already made a determination on something that usually takes much more time than this. So the camera told the story. The story was that Officer Evan Barone acted bravely. He was a hero. What the chief didn't mention, but was mentioned at the press conference, I believe, was in that van that you see there, there were at least 3 kids where the shot was fired in that direction. There were other people in the house, too. And with 16 rounds, as Andrew, you mentioned, it was a dangerous, very dangerous situation. The guy was wanted on parole for parole violation. He has had convictions on many different crimes, including armed robbery and others appeared more serious that he was involved in some way. But he wasn't there just to say hello to his ex-girlfriend. He was there to hurt people. And as I said today, that Officer Barone was injured, but he's safe now. And that's the idea. When our police officers go to work, we want them to come home safe, like their families want them to come home safe. And we'll do everything we can to protect them and provide the necessary funding, because that's our role, is funding. The police commission has policy. And but our idea here is to provide funding to let them do the best job that they can do. But keep in mind that they are people. They go home to families, wives and kids and parents. So I want to thank you, the folks that I spoke to over the weekend regarding this. And it's important for the community to stay focused on this issue of what happened, but also what could have happened. And if it wasn't for that one officer standing on the sidewalk with no cover, shot, returning fire, and hitting the person, I believe, more than once, then we might have a very different situation today. So thank you, Officer Barone. Thank you for your bravery, and thank you to his family for sending us Officer Barone. And I'm sure the chief will be addressing in the near future some type of additional comments about what he did and how he did it. So, any questions of me? I'm not going to have any other report tonight. So,
Thank you. Any
Thank
questions for the mayor? Oh, Alderman Kleiner.
Just since September is the last month for it, if you could just mention the census one more time, and you
Sure.
know, as kids, whether it's online or however, as children go back to school, you know, the word needs to get out, because this is our last month, so I don't know how we're doing, but
as of yesterday, I believe we were at 56.8 response rate. New York State's at 60.8, both below national average, which means that New York State will not get its fair share of money, will not have the proper count, will not have the proper representation. Our kids will not have proper state funding. Our police will not get adequate funding from federal government. It will have to be made up by local taxpayers and a whole host of things. So it's a right question. The census was extended to the end of September. The census enumerators, which are the federal employees, have been going door to door, trying to encourage people to sign up, and they assist them. They're assisting them. We can't. We cannot go help someone fill out their census. The enumerator can. And so I don't know if that information comes in all at once and like one big dump into the system or not. We can't get that answer. But it's the response is a little disappointing from our residents right now. And hopefully that'll change by the end of September.
thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, Mayor. Economic Development.
Good evening. I want to wish Officer Barone a speedy recovery and best wishes to him and his family as well. On a business front, last week, the mayor and Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul were on a tour of downtown, and she was here on a Build Back Better campaign. And Mayor, I think she was quite impressed with how the DRI projects are moving. And also, Painted Horse Chocolates opened up as well last week, so she's open for business at the Rail Trail Commons. And I could say we've been seeing influx of small businesses. 5 new businesses are going to be opening on the stretch of North Street from the square to Orchard Street. We have on the planning board agenda, I think, like 4 small businesses on there for tomorrow night. And like I said, we're just working with numerous inquiries of people coming in looking to open a business. And then some of the businesses that were closed are starting to reopen, like the bowling alley, Cue Ball, and all. They've been allowed to reopen. So on that note, also, we have the small business loan, COVID relief loan through our office. I would encourage people, if you haven't inquired, or inquire to see if you're eligible. And also, we continue to have our small business loan program as well. And that's all I have for tonight.
Any question for Maria? Alderman Kleiner.
What's the deadline for the COVID relief application?
We're till the end of December.
Oh,
We're
okay.
accepting the applications, and
Good, thank you.
yeah, we still got a little time, but
Anyone else? Thank you, Maria.
thank you.
DPW Commissioner.
Good evening, all. I'm going to be very brief because of the situation we were in with the police department, and I just want to echo what the mayor said, expressing my sincere appreciation and proud of the police department, especially officer and the chief and his department, especially Officer Barone for what he has done. Very courageous young man. He grew up with my daughter. They're the same age. My middle daughter. We knew him throughout his up to this point, and we knew his family, and they're, like the mayor said, dedicated family for the city of Middletown. I'm extremely very proud of him and what he did and how he stood up for himself, and he saved his own life and others around him. Very proud of him. I'm going to touch on very few projects that we're doing. First of all, the reservoirs, Alderman Massey, they're at 96% full. Shows we're in very good shape. We're expecting rain throughout. 3 buildings are advertised for demolition in the city of Middletown, including asbestos abatement. Contractors are encouraged to pick them up. The bid opening is on the 10th of this month. Davish Park expansion, the contracts are ready to be, are almost signed so that construction can get started. You guys can be happy for Alderman. And 24-inch line, 12-inch line is ready to proceed with the construction as well. Downtown projects, whether it is the green infrastructure, parking lots, or the ADA sidewalks, they're moving very well. And you can see the results as you drive by. A very impressive net results worth the inconvenience that we've been suffering. And I will stop at this point if you have any questions.
Alderman Tobin.
I had a question from a resident on Grant Street, the mitigation project. She saw from the planning board the Cornerstone Health is adding an addition to their
Yes.
existing building, and she's concerned about the construction on her street. Will they be overlapping, or will the mitigation project
Yes.
be done first?
Thank you. This is New York Rising, the alderman is referring to, and we have a Draper Brook in there that runs through Grant Street, through the parking lot where the project is going to take place. And that culvert, underground culvert, or the Draper Brook is going to be ripped out under New York Rising. So part of the condition, hopefully, of the planning board, we've been coordinating very closely with the planning board and the timing, that will allow until the end of next year for the project, for the Draper Brook project to be completed. So whatever they do in there, they'll have to bear in mind that we're going to be there ripping out and replacing that culvert that runs under the parking lot.
Will that necessarily happen first, or is that they're going to happen maybe at the same time?
Well, hopefully our project will happen first, but it will have to be closely coordinated.
Okay.
I met with the attorneys for our planning board, with the planning board chairman and some members, and we're very much coordinated in there. So,
Okay,
so
thank you.
hopefully there will not be too many hiccups in there, but that's,
Anyone else? Alderman Kleiner.
Heritage Trail, do we have any updates,
Yes.
as far as what the county's doing?
Yes, it's moving along very well. The mayor, he did not report on that. We had a conference phone call, the mayor and myself, with the county and Coach USA, which is short line in there, to try to move the acquisition of property or transferring the property from that they own to the city of Middletown, so that the county will jump in and fund it, because as you know, Coach USA, they were supposed to fund it, get reimbursement from the DOT, but then they backed off. And they don't want to do it because change ownership, and they were not too happy about the reimbursement from the county or from the DOT. So the county, after efforts of the mayor, and the county decided, they said, we'll take it over. They had a new commissioner of planning in there, and he seems to be very ambitious, very energetic in there. He's willing to work with us. So he's trying to secure financing on his own through the county to build this project. And Coach USA, they're very happy with this, and they said, we'll be very happy to cooperate with you guys. And now it's the matter of them reaching out to Alex, finalizing the agreement to transfer the property to us, and it's going to be subject to the overall agreement that you already approved with Coach USA between the city and the transportation.
Okay.
So that ties into the Heritage Trail, which is the design of Phase 3, which is moving along very well in there.
Good.
They have Commissioner of Parks in there in the county. He's in charge of that Heritage Trail design. And he's really pushing it along as hard as he can. And we are very, very optimistic about it moving forward with the design. The construction, as you know, it's moving along for Heritage Trail Segment 2, which goes up to the switch, which is from the river, from the Walker River, all the way to the switch in East Main. And that's moving along very well.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Jacob. Fire Chief.
Good evening, everybody. Our thoughts and prayers are with the officer, Evan Brown. As we all know, his father was a fire chief, so it kind of hits home with us as well. Watched Evan growing up, and we're very proud of the police department. Thank you for your jobs and all the officers. It's known that the parade for October has been canceled. Although we will have our inspection night October 9th, a tour of all the firehouses, and all the council members are all invited for that tour and walkthrough. Also with the parade, we are having banners made. They're kind of like the size of these that are hanging here. From each company will have their own banner. The chiefs will, and then the Officer of the Year, the Fireman of the Year, and we've also included a Rookie of the Year. We took in a lot of members this year, so I think it was like 25, 28 members. So we've made an extra Rookie of the Year this year, along with their pictures will be on the banner. And I guess we'll be reaching out to maybe Maria or DPW to get those hung on the telephone poles. So you'll be getting a call soon.
Chief, what time on the 9th?
6:30. 6:30 on the night.
Here in City Hall?
Yes, here. Yeah, we'll meet here at City Hall. And 6:30. And we also have a resolution tonight that was passed by legislation and passed by Governor Cuomo for the 4 months of COVID that volunteers weren't, their call volume and meeting volume was cut down. They've made a law that the governing body can award up to 5 points a month per member to meet their low staff requirements. And that's all I have for tonight.
Any question? Alderman Kleiner.
Chief, because you weren't, I think you're at the last meeting, but I know there was a structure fire on Houston Avenue. Can you tell us anything about that, whether it's a complete loss or any determination on the cause of the fire?
It was a room and content fire, although it did make substantial smoke damage throughout the rest of the house. The house is salvageable, and it was an electrical in origin.
Okay, thank you.
Alderman Massey.
Chief, can you get one of those banners made out for Alderman of the Year?
Sure. Are you,
Lottery, right.
we'll have to do a flip. Are you going to talk about the test at all on your report?
No,
No?
because a final determination has not been made, Chief. That's the
Okay.
reason I didn't bring it up.
Okay.
I'll know within a week or so, and I'll notify you, and you can put it on, and we'll put it on the website, and then I'll talk about it at the next meeting, assuming something changes.
Okay,
Hopefully, it'll stay the same. But thanks, Chief.
thank you.
Alderman John Francois.
Chief, sorry to hear about the parade is canceled. I know you guys had waited 3 years. Being that it's canceled this year, do we have to wait another 3 years, or is it next year for sure if everything goes well?
No, I've actually spoken to the incoming chief, Nick Barber, and he has agreed to have the parade next year.
Next year for sure, okay.
So
Thank you.
it is rescheduled for, I believe it's October of next year.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Corporation Counsel.
I also want to wish Evan Barone a very speedy recovery. And other than that, I don't have anything tonight unless anybody has any questions.
Any question for Alex? Thank you, Alex. Chief, you're good?
I have two other things, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Good evening once again. I don't want to reiterate what the mayor said about the body cameras, but I think this was a situation that really highlights the need for the body cameras. It's one thing to hear about a situation, but to actually watch it, it goes so much further. And this really drove it home for me for the need to have those body cameras. So I do hope that you do support that. Tonight's resolution is just to allow us to sign the contract, and the funding will be presented to you in the near future. One other thing I would like to bring up this evening, and it's not a pleasant situation, but it is something that I want to bring about only to recognize Detective Slanovic, who put a tremendous amount of time and effort into this case, and it came to a resolution today with the arrest of the person responsible. The case began on February 22nd, 2020. I'm just going to read a quick blurb from District Attorney Hoovler's press release pertaining to this situation. Orange County District Attorney David M. Hoovler announced that on Tuesday, September 1st, 2020, Kimberly Bennett, 43, of Middletown, was arraigned before Orange County Court Judge Craig Stephen Brown on an indictment charging her with crimes including assault in the first degree in connection with an assault on Bennett's 7-month-old granddaughter, for whom Bennett was the primary caregiver. The assault resulted in the child suffering serious physical injury, including damage to her brain and eyes, which resulted in the child being rendered blind. The assault is alleged to have occurred on February 22nd, 2020 at Bennett's home here in Middletown. Again, awful, but the reason I bring that up is I want to publicly recognize Detective Slanovic. He worked diligently for months on this case, meeting with doctors, specialists, the district attorneys, and so many other people to make sure that this was a solid case and that he brought justice to this 7-month-old child. So I'd like to thank him, and I'd like to thank everybody that assisted him with this, including the district attorney's office, because this is a horrific situation. But that's it. Any questions?
Any questions for the chief? Thank you, Chief. City Clerk.
My thoughts and prayers are also with the Barone family and with his father. Talked with him today and expressed my thoughts. Also, we're going to be starting early voting October 24th through Sunday, November 1st. It will be at the Senior Center again, same as last time when we did the primaries. Also, this year there's been a little bit of a change that all of the county will be able to vote early at all 7 early voting locations. Last year in the Senior Center, there was only, I think, 3. Middletown, of course, was one of them, but they share all the counties of the county will be able to be voting at all 7 of the locations. I'll be posting that on the website, and it's also on the Board of Elections website, too. That's all I have.
Any questions for John? Thank you, John. Public hearings and grievances.
Okay, tonight we have 2 public hearings. The first one is to add to the city code a new chapter, 356, plumbers and plumber standards. I'll read the notice. Notice is hereby given that the city of Middletown will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, September 1st, on or as near 8 p.m. as possible, Common Council Chambers, 2nd floor, 16 James Street, to hear any and all persons wishing to be heard on a proposed amendment to the city code to add a new chapter, which is Chapter 356, Plumbers and Plumbing Standards. A full copy of the proposed new Chapter 356 was available in the city clerk's office, room 12, at City Hall, also on the city website. And in all persons wishing to be heard will be given an opportunity to speak either for or against the proposed addition to the code. And this was published in the Times Herald Record on 8/24 and 8/25, and also on the city website.
At this time, the public hearing is now open. Eileen, anyone for the public?
There is not.
Anyone on the council? I got a motion to close the public hearing. Alderman Massey, seconded by Alderman Green. All in favor?
Aye.
Public hearing is now closed. Other public hearing.
Okay, we have a second public hearing for a 2-lot subdivision for the former psychiatric center. And I'll read the notice. Notice is hereby given that the city of Middletown will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, September 1st, on or as near 8 p.m. as possible, Common Council Chambers, 2nd floor, 16 James Street, to hear any and all persons wishing to be heard on the proposed 2-lot subdivision to portion of Lot 7.2, which is Section 21, Block 2, Lot 7, at the former Psychiatric Center campus, which one of the lots will be retained by the state and one will be transferred to the city of Middletown. Any and all persons wishing to be heard will be given an opportunity to speak either for or against the proposed 2-lot subdivision. The complete proposed map of the property for the 2-lot subdivision was available in the office of the Common Council Clerk, City Hall, and also on the city website. This was published on the Times Herald Record, in the Times Herald Record, on August 26th and August 27th, and also on the city website.
Okay, at this time, the public hearing is now open. Anyone from the public?
No.
Anyone, any council member? Alderman Kleiner.
I did ask the mayor about this because I wasn't sure what was going on, and it is, we're assured it's basically just the state doing some technical adjustment to the lines between Tuckerman Hall and the Schmitz Building, or Rockland Psych. So I accept that. Is that? Okay.
Anyone else? Motion to close. Alderman Tobin, second by Alderman Green. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Remarks of Alderman, Alderman Massey.
I would first like to open up with my congratulations to the police department, the great job, and a speedy recovery for Evan. I've known the Barone family for over 30 years. Evan and his brother, watched them grow up. Their parents, Sammy and Kathy, and I have been friends for a long time. In fact, at one of my swearing-ins, Kathy held the Bible for me. It just shows the dedication of our entire police department and of that individual. He should be very proud of himself. I know we are very proud of him, and looking for a speedy recovery and for Evan to get back to work as soon as possible. I do have a second thing, and I want to read this because I didn't write this, so I don't want to take credit for it, but 9/11. Let's not forget, September 11th, 2001, 9/11, a Tuesday morning when a series of 4 coordinated terrorist attacks by the Islamic terrorist group Al-Qaeda against the United States. The attacks resulted in 2,977 fatalities, over 25,000 injuries, and substantial long-term health consequences, in addition to over $10 billion in infrastructure and property damage. It is the single deadliest terrorist attack in human history and the single deadliest incident for firefighters and law enforcement officers in the history of the United States, with 343 and 72 killed respectively. Let's never forget. So I ask, 10 days from today, please remember all the heroes who gave their lives and those who continue to suffer from the terrible day. Whatever religion you believe in, please say a prayer for all those who lost their lives and those that are now suffering and their courageous families. Thank you.
Alderman Tobin?
I'd like to echo Alderman Massey's remarks. Never forget the people lost their lives in 9/11 and the heroic action of the first responders on that day and their lives they've lost too. I know I taught a child, his father passed away as a fireman in the Twin Towers. So I echo that remark, and I think the proud tradition is carried on here in Middletown, making you prouder and prouder every day. I'd like to thank Officer Barone and the police department for making us proud and doing a great job, and a speedy recovery to him, and my thoughts and prayers are with his family. Thank you.
Alderman Green?
Thank you. Definitely want to echo that about September 11th. We'll forget where we were. I know I never will forget where I was. Also, I do know it is school opening time, and even though it's a little different this year, it doesn't mean the teachers aren't hard at work already preparing, certainly a little bit differently than they have been in the past, and many students preparing to learn a little differently than they have maybe. And I just wish a very safe and productive year for everyone. Also, I do want to make mention that we will be holding our second ward constituents meeting. Will be Monday the 14th at 6:30 p.m. We're going to do again. Again, we're hoping for the Lions Pavilion at Davidge Park, but we will solidify that at a later date and let you know. But for now, we're planning on the Lions Pavilion again Monday, September 14th at 6:30 p.m. I did look through the contract of the body cameras, and I just want to say the chief, it's definitely some people think that we're just signing away a contract, but this is completely detailed. The whole plan over the 10 years, I was extremely impressed. So I'm really looking forward to this program for the department, and wish everyone well with that. With regards to Officer Barone, being proud is an understatement. His entire family has put heart and soul and dedication into our city, and we're very proud of the entire Barone family. Certainly, Officer Barone for his actions and all he did within those 25 seconds and all that transpired afterward. And the entire police department, we're proud of you, stand with you, and thank you, Chief, for letting us know about the case with Detective Slanovic there. And, it's amazing the work that goes on behind the scenes that we don't even hear about in the papers. But, we're really proud of our police department and wish everyone well, and, everyone comes home safe. Thank you.
Alderman Johnson?
Thank you. I think tonight we're all going to say very similar things, but not like this, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Law enforcement is obviously a high-profile conversation in this country. I think the mayor brought it home for our town and said it well and said it all. It's clear that both with the mayor and the chief working collaboratively that we have checked off all the boxes. We're way ahead of the curve on a lot of these national issues. God bless Officer Barone, and God bless all of our men and women in uniform for doing the job that they do. And this is a stark reminder there's no such thing as a routine patrol. Thank you.
Alderman Reckonsoon?
Good evening. I echo Alderman Johnson's statement. I hate speaking after him. He's always way more eloquent than I am. But I am happy to know that Officer Barone is okay and doing well. I'd like to commend him on his ability to apply his training in spite of being injured and in an extremely volatile situation. So just a testament to just the way our officers are trained here in Middletown. I wish him a speedy recovery. Thank you to Middletown PD for bringing justice to that child who does not have a voice of their own, and thank you for being that voice. School starts on Tuesday next week. I say with dread. It's a brave new school year for all of us, parents, teachers, staff, kids. So I wish everybody the best of luck. I apologize in advance to all my kids' teachers because I am going to do a horrible job, but I'll do my best. Best of luck to everyone. That's all I have.
Alderman Kleiner?
Thank you. I just want to mention that Neighborhood Watch, which was on the calendar for next week, we're not going to do yet. So come out to our Second Ward constituents meeting or one of the other constituents meetings, and those will, for the time being, serve as our Neighborhood Watch. Evan Barone and Officer Barone, I offer my sincere gratitude for your actions. You exemplify what the police are here for, to serve and protect. And he did a hell of a job, and seeing that video, it certainly does argue for moving ahead with the body cameras and having that available for transparency and to help everyone concerned. So to Officer Barone, I extend my sincere well wishes and get well wishes, and congratulations on a job really well done. Thank you.
Alderman John Francois?
Good evening, thank you. Wow. This incident basically solidified the hard work and dangerous work that our police department and our fire department do on a daily basis. Life is very fragile. We have to enjoy every minute of it. We're here today, gone tomorrow. Officer Barone was actually one of the officers that actually patrolled the 4th Ward. And I remember him coming to our meeting, and we had quick discussion. He's doing well in our community, keeping our community safe. As pray to God, he's here with us today. The outcome could have been a lot different. It's hard. Also, our 4th Ward constituents meeting will be taking place this Saturday at 10 o'clock in this chamber, just to notify everyone there will be forms for you to fill out before you enter the building, and please do wear your mask to come into the building. Also, the Public Works Committee met this evening. We had a great discussion. Our discussion will continue to our next meeting. Thank you.
Alderman Burr?
Okay, I'll end it all. Officer Brown, I just seen him 2 weeks ago. He came into my deli and got lunch, and he told me, he says, I really love my job. And to this day, he still loves his job, I presume. But it was, it could have been a big tragedy. Our training is in fire, police is always the most important thing we can do. And I wish the Barone family and Evan a speedy recovery. Thank you.
I guess I'll echo it also. I get to see Evan every day at work now, so it's one of those things. Saturday night driving down 211, I see shots fired. Fireworks. Then I get the phone call. Okay, and then I get the phone call as an officer. That is, as an elected official, probably the hardest thing. And the chief said it today, as a chief of the police and everything, to get that phone call that one of our officers was shot. Then going to the hospital and seeing Evan, and Evan's great spirit, happy. He says, I want to get out there. If we cast him up today, he'll probably come back to work. I'm really, really proud. It shows the integrity, how much they came through, the training, and how proud we are for our police department. The mayor touched on the funding. We sat on these committees and had to do it, and putting the report together. We see it. We've done it. Now we see our officers in action, and everybody in between. And I'm sitting in Evan's room yesterday from Fox News and CNN. It wasn't fake news. Trying to reach out to Evan and reaching out to him and all of the police departments. It's really, really, really nice to see how many people are out there and caring about our police officers. I hope him a speedy recovery, and he'll be back soon. New business.
We have a resolution Sponsored by Alderman Johnson, to authorize the treasurer to transfer $26,000 from the general fund balance to the civil service 2020 budget for new computer software.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson, seconded by Alderman Rankine-Sum. Any discussion? Roll.
Graham Cassoon.
Aye.
Tobin.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
John Francois.
Aye.
Burr.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Massey.
Abstain.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Tobin to authorize the fire department in creating up to an additional 5 points per month for participants in a firefighter LoSAP program.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Tobin, seconded by Alderman Burr. Any discussion? Roll.
Graham Cassoon.
Aye.
Tobin.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
John Francois.
Aye.
Burr.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Tobin to authorize the mayor to sign a 10-year contract with Axon for body cameras, software, and IT supplies for the police department.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Tobin, seconded by Alderman Kleiner. Any discussion? Roll.
Graham Cassoon.
Aye.
Tobin.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
John Francois.
Aye.
Burr.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Green to accept a GIVE 2019-2020 Gun-Involved Violence Immolation Grant in the amount of $15,250.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Green, seconded by Alderman Rankine-Sum. Any discussion? Roll.
Graham Cassoon.
Aye.
Tobin.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
John Francois.
Aye.
Burr.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderman John Francois to accept an award in the amount of $13,440 given to the city by the New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee for the use in the police traffic services.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman John Francois, seconded by Alderman Tobin. Any discussion? Roll.
Graham Cassoon.
Aye.
Tobin.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
John Francois.
Aye.
Burr.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes. That is all for new business.
Audit.
Mr. President, I move the accounts be audited, the claims be adjusted, and the city treasurer be authorized to issue warrants for their payment.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Massey, seconded by Alderman Green. Roll.
Graham Cassoon.
Aye.
Tobin.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
John Francois.
Aye.
Burr.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes.
For adjournment?
So moved.
Aye.
Aye.